gotta be pretty handsome.
It's that charisma factor, man. You can't have
That's
it
right.
if you're ugly. Now that I think about it, I don't know what Abraham looked like, but I bet Jesus was pretty attractive. I bet Siddhartha was pretty attractive. I bet Muhammad was pretty attractive. Do ugly
Think
people
about
start
that.
religions?
You watch these shows about cult leaders and stuff, and the commentary is always like, they were really attractive and charismatic, and you're looking at them like, really? Are we sure? Looking at the same
Him?
guy?
Him?
That guy?
I
That
think the
dude.
point of starting a cult is that you can influence people and then make them think you're attractive.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
power is
like-
really what makes you attractive.
Exactly, like you're changing the social norms on everybody.
What power, man? My goodness. Donald Trump? Pretty fucking hot.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna delete the stream.
I mean, I didn't want to
This
be the
is
one
a
who said
cursed
it,
stream
but...
now.
Yeah, I can't believe I started the stream and then this is what came out.
Who said that?
You can bleep that in post.
I could, but I'm too lazy.
Well, Modern was pretty fucking hot.
Yeah, it'll be that. Saloon is pretty fucking hot. Perfect.
It's gonna be a little
I
bit
mean,
late.
I think we should dub in Hidario, you know?
Oh yeah. If only to appease. One of these days we're just gonna be wandering around and it's just gonna be like Hadariel's revenge out of nowhere.
No, come on, guys. Why would that happen?
Just having a picnic. Fucking, devil angel things coming out of the sky.
I think that's the last you've heard of her.
Sure.
You've sort of said your piece.
I'm pretty sure no one in the party's ever going to interact with her again.
Exactly. Okay. Is everybody here? We got Zola, Vero.
Yeah, everybody but Gert. He's on his way.
Ah, okay. So, should I just start, or how far is he out?
Well,
We can probably start.
Oh, wait. Leif's not in here.
For whatever reason, my computer is having trouble loading the game. But you can start and I'll work on that.
Okay. Well, luckily, some of this is sort of theater of the mind at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so quick summary of last session. You guys fought some orcs and it went okay, and then you found this room with water pool thing in it. Is that about right? That cover it mostly? No, yeah, so you guys have made your way to the roots of the Kuldahar tree, and you found a blight sort of at the base of it where these orcs were creating a sort of plagued orc hybrid that they were using in battle, and you guys put a stop to it with the help of Mel and Hannah, who did most of the work, I think, while Johoff was dead. And then you guys fought the Orc King, and the battle went pretty well for you guys despite everything. Damon sort of centrally taking on the king with basically never taking a shot, I believe. And Veyril sort of flipping through timelines, making sure everybody avoided certain doom. And at the end, you guys came down here with Hannah and this dryad, leader of the dryad, who tried to start performing a ritual and quickly noticed that at the center of the room the pedestal laid empty, where there should be some sort of magical device, which you discovered was a mythalar, which looked like the moon. And you were informed that without the mythalar, Hannah's ascension process could not fulfilled, and this was sort of a bummer. And you also discovered that the white dragon, Beatrice, or our Beatrice, is the one most likely currently in possession of that device, though you do not know that for sure. And then Hannah started sort of showing Isolde around this cosmic wheel on the floor before presenting looks into the various planes. Isolde was only able to look into Mount Celestia, and when she did, she sort of found herself transported through the portal, at least mentally, into the land of Mount Celestia, where, walking on the road in front of her, she saw her deity, Ilmater, who greeted her. And that's where we pick up. Any questions?
Nope, totally casual. Just meeting my god.
Yeah, so I will say that from the other player's perspective, Isolde has started to stare into this pool and has now begun staring in it for about 10 minutes straight, totally enraptured. What feels like a few seconds is talking to Ilmater is taking long time on the material plane. And so the rest of you are sort of fidgeting, standing around, bored, waiting to see what happens while this is taking place. And we pick up in Mount Celestia, where a smiling Ilmater greets Isolde. Hello.
Hello. I guess thank you for having me.
He smiles. Yes, come. And he sort of ushers you to walk with him in Mount Celestia.
Just landed everything.
Yeah, you feel sort of lightness here. You're not quite sure if it's because your material body isn't quite here or if it's just a product of this place. But as you're walking, you can sort of feel your just spirit lifted. Any ill effects, including exhaustion, begin to fade away, and you begin to sort of feel rejuvenated. But as that rejuvenation takes place, you also find these sort of dark memories and the recent events sort of begin to slip from you as you not forget, but begin to I guess it's sort of a forgetfulness of where you were at. So now you find yourself a little bit out of sorts.
Are we going somewhere in particular?
Just a walk. And he turns and says, we shouldn't spend too much time here. It's best not for mortals to dwell too long in this space, even not in physical form. But I thought it would be important for you to see it.
So I wish that it's very beautiful.
Yes. It is a form of perfection, that is sure. I wanted to speak to you about what you're doing on the material plane.
Yes?
For a long time, you've carried out the will of your teachers and my own will on that material plane, and you've done quite well. You've saved many lives and put a number of people to rights. And he kind of smiles and says, I'm very proud.
She's she's smiling ear to ear. I've tried my best. It's, for a long time I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing, so That means a lot to me.
Well, rest assured, you have done right by many people, and you have left the world a better place. But I must ask something greater of you, something more important than anything you've done yet.
Yes, anything.
He sort of gets more serious, and he gives you a look of sorrow, and he says, "Soon something terrible will happen, and, well, there's not much I can tell you about it. By the nature of these kinds of things, the gods are hesitant to meddle, but when it does happen, you'll know. And once it happens, I may not be able to always help you."
Like, you would go away?
In a sense. It is inevitable.
I don't understand.
And you shouldn't, and that's okay. But rest assured, the future is in good hands, and I trust that you will make the right decision when the time comes, and all this will eventually be behind us.
You cannot tell me what to do when it happens?
Only that you follow your heart.
All right. I will try.
He smiles. That's what I expected you to say. And he sort of pauses for a bit, and he goes, "Of course, that's why I chose you." And he says, "Come, I have a gift for you."
She looks surprised and follows after him.
And he takes you to like a massive waterfall, and it's just like slamming down. The sound is almost deafening, but it is a sort like a sight of complete tranquility and peace all around you. All of this grass and trees are sort of waving gently in the breeze. And he says, "Reach out your hand."
She does.
And he just faintly touches it with his hand. And when he does, a mark appears on your skin that looks like... It looks like a human heart. And you feel a great deal of energy transfer into you. So much so that your mind sort of wavers and you almost feel like you're about to pass out. And you sort of stabilize and come to. And he says, "Good luck, Isolde." And you blink out of Mount Celestia. And I'm going to say that we're going to resolve what other people do while you're in that, sort of concurrently. And we're going to skip to somebody else, and I'm going to throw something in your character sheet.
Okay.
It's in your passive abilities, so you can check it out. What are you guys doing while she's enraptured in the portal?
Olaf is just kind of standing there looking around, not really doing anything, just trying to. He's got a point of exhaustion, so he's just slumped against the wall.
Sure.
Terran's gonna be keeping his distance from the portal because he does not want any insights into other planes at this point in his life.
Sure.
And he's just kind of fidgeting, uncomfortably waiting.
I think Vayril would be meditating as he does in the evenings, just kind of patiently letting Isolde do what she needs to do.
Damon would take whatever steps he can to try and make sure that Isolde's not under any immediate threat. And if he can ascertain that, then he would just kind of silently stand vigil.
And as Damon stands there, Hannah points, sort of looking at him, to the floor where the Mechanist symbol is.
It's very clear that he is curious about that, so he'll maybe move over towards it while still keeping his eyes on Isolde.
She sort of walks towards it and, sort of drawing in the water with her feet, sort of swirls it about playfully until a light begins to emanate from it, and then she smiles at you.
I look up at her, over to where Isolde's at her portal, back at the rest of the group, and then back at Hannah, waiting for somebody to tell me. Am I supposed to do something, or is she picking us off one by one, or what?
She waits patiently.
Vayril says softly, "Have a look."
I will look back at him and then slowly, look through this pooled, seemingly liquid light.
Sorry, I'm moving people out of the way. Okay. Yeah, you begin to look into the pool, and as you do, your sensory input becomes sort of muddied. Your normal sort of categorized sense of reality begins to become muddy and strange and inverted, and as you stare, you feel it's almost as if your inner programming is being rewritten. It's a very unnerving feeling. And then you find yourself staring at a city of machinery and gears with little creatures flying around through the air, sort of single purpose mechs just flying through, fulfilling their task, everything in unison, no traffic, no anything, just everything in lockstep, moving with complete and total order. At the center of this sort of highway full of these automatons, you see a large structure. You find yourself sort of walking on the street next to these uniform marching creatures.
I would maybe try and flag one down and see if I can talk to it.
One second.
Hmm.
You try to flag one down, and he just keeps marching.
Do I get any sense of whether or not it's ignoring me, or can these things not see or interact with me at all? I'm just not familiar with the magic that I'm interacting with right now.
Yeah, make an insight.
Can you make that for me? I'm still getting the same 504 error.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, which is weird because initially it loaded up, and then when I joined it booted me.
Okay. it's really strange. So you get an insight roll of 15, and you determine that these things are so single purpose that it's not that they can't interact with you, it's that they ought not to. And as you're sort of walking, I guess, down the street a little bit, you begin to gain a strange sense of familiarity, like you've been here before.
Yeah, as I'm gonna start walking with these things, like walking towards whatever it is they're walking towards, and just kind of start to feel like this feels good, like this purpose, just walking with these things, and just I kind of get wrapped up in it.
Yeah, and you find yourself marching towards the center of the city where a large sort of spherical dome with inner working gears sort of oscillates and clicks like a giant celestial clock. And you find yourself sort of being almost dropped off at the gates. Sort of the wave of these mechs moving sort of opens for you to walk, and as you do, it sort of closes off. And they divert direction like a marching band, and you find yourself standing at the gates.
I am going to try and approach the gates, and see if I can get closer.
Yes, 1 second. Okay, so as you approach, you hear overhead, "State your purpose."
I will hesitate, and then say, I am a visitor to this realm. I am just curious. What am I looking at here?
And you hear in response, "Incorrect, not visitor. Welcome, Unit 726.
I will
And the door
pause for a moment.
opens.
I will look at the thing that was talking to me and ask, you know my designation. Do you know my master as well?
All know the master. Enter.
And I will just then proceed through the gates, and continue walking towards this
Yeah.
gleaming clockwork.
You walk
Magical
through
sphere.
these massive corridors, these huge pillars, and on each pillar you see dates and times and gears sort of rotating, almost as though it's tracking every single calendar and like weather pattern and celestial body movement in the cosmos.
I'm just awed by it and how everything like has its place as I like continue through and observe like the precise motions of all these things and how they all just fit so perfectly together.
Yeah, you sort of just glancing discover that 3 of the moons on a nearby planet are aligned at the moment, and that's kind of interesting.
Do I recognize anything about which specific planet, or is it just like a...
No, it's just some arbitrary planet that you've
Okay.
never heard of.
Cool.
It just says planet number 4624b. Alright.
Cool.
And as you continue to walk, you step past sort of larger, more menacing looking massive golems. Again, clockwork exposed, as you can see they're not really hiding the intricacy of their assembly. And you come up to a big door with 2 massive golems in front of it, and then they sort of step aside, and the door like mechanically swings open slowly, gears shifting and turning and creaking in the sky.
And I will just then continue to stride past them, wordlessly.
And you walk into a massive chamber, and at the end of about a 200-foot chamber, you see a large sort of torso of a figure with wires and sort of gears protruding out of it that connect up all around with various other gears and wires in the walls. So it's like a central being, and yet it seems almost like the building itself. And you hear, "Welcome."
I will approach, but maintain a respectful distance, and say, "Hello, I am Defense Entry Model 726. I am here seeking my master."
I am your master. You stand before Primus.
I will look at this thing with a degree of puzzlement, and then I'll say, "Forgive me, I am sure you are a powerful entity, but I serve Moltanus. He is my originator, my creator."
Untrue.
And I will pause for a moment, dealing with the cold logic of that, and say, "This is what I know from my programming. It is built into me. It cannot be untrue without everything I know being untrue."
True.
Were this the case, I am not sure I could continue to function as I have in the past, and this is an uncomfortable concept. I must therefore ask again, where is Moltanus? I am told he was here.
Moltanus is here.
As I said, my master is then here. Where may I find him?
Moltanus is unavailable. You come
My
to
lord-
speak with Primus. Your role is unknown to you.
I will start to get a little frustrated, but I'll keep my cool for now and say, "My Lord Primus, certainly you have the power to tell me, when will Moltanus be available? It is important that I speak with him."
Mortals and the dead are isolated from each other.
I will, my frustration's gonna start to come out a little bit, as I say, "I am not mortal, not in the typical sense. Moreover, if I were a mortal, that would imply that I am ensouled, as Moltanus has claimed that I was by him. Therefore, it must be the case that he is my master, that he has information for me, and that I must speak with him."
Incorrect logical judgment.
"Tell me then, Lord Primus, why am I here? What have you brought me for, if you brought me?"
Unit 726 requires Mark to save material plane.
"What mark do you speak of?"
And he holds up a large mechanical hand, and he says, "Present core mainframe." And you feel your inner gears sort of turning against your will, and your inner chassis begins to open up, and as it does, his extended finger pointing towards it, a spark shoots from it, and when it does, a glyph begins to form, and a large gear places itself inside of your mechanery.
I would maybe silently struggle with my chassis as it's opening against my will. And then as the glyph starts to uh, carve itself into me or whatever, I might panic and cry out, "Captain!" And then do nothing.
Mark received. Meeting terminated.
Do I feel anything strange after this?
Yeah, you feel a strange sense, as though, you've sort of always had this internal clock feeling to yourself of, knowing when things are happening. But you feel that sort of supercharged. You begin to have this very strange sense of all of the gears as they're turning in sync in your body, and you sort of gain a new sense of your own construction.
As I'm feeling that, I will then maybe try to be penitent, and I will kneel and say, "My Lord Primus, please, may I speak with Multanus, just for a moment?"
Good luck. And you find yourself bamfed out. And while you are in the other plane, who else is... What's everybody else doing? Isolde, from your perspective, Isolde and Damon have just been locked into these portals, just staring at them. Also, Damon, I put a thing on your character sheet, but if you can't log in to see it, then that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually.
Veyral perhaps would have gone to this region to continue his meditation.
Okay. Wait, where did you go? Sorry. Oh, I see. Yes, and as you get closer to Elysium, Hannah smiles at you, pointing at the glyph on the ground. And 1 second, I'm going to send something to Leif. I sent you a screen cap of the thing you've just received.
Thank you.
Okay. You are... how do you respond when she points towards the glyph?
I'm puzzled that she's pointing at Elysium. So I guess I would have said Elysium. Just kind of, just posing it as a question.
She nods.
Well then, I'll move on over.
And she does the same thing, this time drawing a glyph as though she's casting a spell, which you recognize the motions. But you get the feeling that maybe she's doing it sort of... She doesn't need to. Maybe she could do it with just the regular touch, but she's just sort of doing these extra steps for fanfare.
Yeah, I smirk at the extravagance.
And you look in. And as you look in, you begin to see a beautiful pond with a sunset for a background, with trees sort of stretching up, winding into the sky. It's a peaceful place with sort of fireflies gently gliding through the air, and a number of sort of strange mythical creatures sort of peacefully eating the grass in the distance. And you find yourself sitting by the pond, down on the ground. And as you sort of lose track of time staring at this sunset, you almost have this feeling that you've been here before and that you've been sitting here for a long time. And as soon as you sort of become aware of that, you see Mistra standing before you, about 20 feet in front of you, out on the pond. And you come to realize that you have been here before, but that you've simply forgotten it in so much time. It's been a long while.
Yeah, feeling kind of a strange nostalgia and a sort of deja vu. I guess I would just, wave at Mistra and say, "We meet again."
She nods and says, "You've come too early. I figured you would be better at time."
I still clearly have much to learn then.
Clearly. But she smiles.
Is there a way to correct this?
You shall return when you've gained more power. As it stands, another mark would kill you.
I understand. Shall I stay here?
For as long as you'd like. But careful. Time moves differently here, as you are well aware.
Is there anything I must do?
Aid your friends. The time when they need you is coming.
I understand.
Well done.
Varel nods in humility.
And she just walks across the lake into the distance towards the sunset.
I suppose I'll meditate for just what feels like just a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then heeding her warning not to dawdle. If there's a way for me to, get out, I guess I would leave.
Okay. Yeah. You find a way to free yourself from it at a certain point, and you sort of use your own meditation to release yourself from the portal. But meanwhile, now Varel, Isolde, and Damon are all staring into portals. And it's just Vosner, Taryn, and Johoff standing around.
Taryn's getting increasingly uncomfortable with everybody just getting lost in portals. So he's just fidgeting more, but he's not doing anything.
Hey guys, I just stopped on.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
Good to be here. I've been listening to what's been going on. Could you remind me, did Hannah open up a portal and gesture to Vosner in any sort of way? Or
Hannah pointed towards Ysgard for you, I believe.
Alright. Vosner will take a quick look around at everyone and take a look-see as well.
Okay. And
also, where's the link for the session?
it should be in general.
In general? Okay. Cool. Twitch. Alright, thanks. I found it.
Yep. As you approach, she draws a stick figure wolf on the ground and then mimics the sound of howling and then laughs to herself silently, and then the portal opens.
Would I recognize the figure that she drew?
Yeah, it's a stick figure wolf.
Nice. I kind of chuckle as well, realizing that's my common form.
And she points to it again. And do you look into it?
Yeah.
Okay. As you stare into the strange puddle of swirling light, you find yourself kind of floating in the air, almost like in your air elemental form, sort of unable to figure out where exactly the ground is. You feel yourself sort of in the air amongst floating islands of dirt with trees, and in front of you there stands a tree, an old tree with waterfalls sort of coming out next to it, descending into the clouds. You feel as though this were a floating island high up in the sky.
Does the tree look familiar, like the world tree, or is it something different?
It doesn't look like the world, like the tree of Kuldahar at all.
Should I? Can I move? Can I move towards it? Since I'm floating in the air.
Yes, you can move towards it, and as you do, a beautiful flying figure sort of appears in front of you, and she greets you, waving sort of elegantly, and says, "Child of the moon."
And this is the moon goddess, right?
Yes, the goddess Saloon.
Saloon. It was good. Good to be seen. What is this place?
This is Yizgard.
It's wonderful, gorgeous. Seems like my companions and I are in the center of something large. Am I mistaken?
You are not mistaken.
What am I to do? I've received many messages from visions and gods and goddesses. And it feels like the only thing I am good at is just keeping people alive. And I've failed in that as well.
She nods. She says, "Keeping people alive is a noble task, and a necessary one if you are to save the material plane."
Save it from what?
I cannot say.
Do you have any maybe guidance or insight about the Shadowfell? I feel like it's something, or it could be connected with something. I don't see the threads yet.
She sort of smiles when you mention that, and she says, "The threads are there. Look carefully, Vosner. You will find them. But we cannot spend much time here. I must present you with your gift, and you must be off. You have much to do."
A gift. Oh, that's very kind. Okay.
And she approaches closer to your form, and you find yourself sort of embodied in this space. and she reaches out a hand and touches you on the shoulder, and on the shoulder you feel a great deal of energy sort of flow into you, and you begin to feel like the light of the moon in this space is becoming brighter and brighter, and you see sort of her complexion getting brighter and brighter as the light increases, and she's smiling, and you are bamfed out of this plane.
Wow.
And,
Intense.
and in your features, you should find a new thing.
Awesome. Quick question. I can't get in.
Oh no. Okay.
Am I getting a 504 error, Garrett?
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll try to restart the thing. I'm a little bit terrified of it not working at all after this, though, so let me do the other ones while they're still in here.
Cool.
But I'll send you a screen cap of it.
Nice. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Now Vosner is enraptured with his portal as well, while the rest of them are still staring. Terran and Johoff, you stand sort of alone. The conclave dryad has since walked out, and the other dryads have also left. All that's left is the two of you and Mel and Hannah.
You reckon this is a fucking trap?
Mel gives you a sideways glance, like confused.
Dropping like flies, Joe off. Does like Hannah motion to us or anything?
She moves back towards the center and is sort of looking at both of you waiting.
Taryn will very hesitantly start walking forward.
And as you do, she sort of steps up to Mount Celestia again, where Isolde's looking through.
Okay. Taryn will go there and very, very hesitantly start to look into it.
And as you do, you begin to see the very same things that I described for Isolde. These beautiful mountains with castles in the distance and this beautiful path. And as you're sort of staring at it, you feel your presence shifting towards it. And in the distance, you see a massive flying platinum dragon. And it turns to you and seems excited and begins to move towards you. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself ripped out of the portal. And you're back in here. And
Taryn just kind of shrugs, like he kind of figured that was how it would end.
And as you sort of continue to stare into that pool, you find your mind being shifted, now sort of unwillingly being pulled into the portal, and your eyes are directed towards the Nine Hells.
He's gonna try to pull away.
Yeah, make a, let's say, wisdom saving throw. You are unable to do so, and you are still looking as though you're looking into the celestial portal, but your mind is being transported to a very dark place with buildings that are red and made of thick obsidian stone, and the sky is being filled with plumes of smoke. The heat is intense as it begins to harm your body as you're there. You feel as though your soul is being cooked alive, and in your head you hear ominous laughter. And you sort of feel your body being pulled quickly down these streets, and on these streets walk all these grotesque looking figures with fangs and red eyes, covered in blood and ichor, and sort of all with a devilish, fiendish presence. And you feel as though you're being carted through this place against your will until you're carried up this steep set of steps into this dark chamber. And in this dark chamber, at the end of it, sits a very menacing figure on a throne who says, "Terran."
Hello?
"Welcome to hell."
Ten will glance around and just kind of nod. Like, okay, so this is it, type of thing.
"Yes. It's nicer than you'd expected, isn't it? We have a sense of architecture here."
Very orderly.
"But of course, had I known you were one of Bahamut's chosen, I would have given you a greater boon. How fortunate for me."
It's like you got fairly lucky on that one.
Indeed. Well, anyways, we don't have to chat very long. I just needed to, help you out a little bit. But, of course, there's always a trade, always a drawback, some sort of punishment for your reward. Would you like to know what this ability can do for you?
I'm all ears.
Well, as you know, I'm in the business of collecting souls. It's kind of my thing. And he sort of gestures around to all of these souls sort of hauntingly floating through the air. He says, "That one was a priest." I got him right at the end. He lived a whole life of good deeds and then sold his soul right at the end. Idiot.
Well, what for?
To feed his village. Can you believe that? Guess his good god wasn't helping him out enough. But alas, people have different reasons for doing what they do. It's not our point to judge, it's just our point to collect them and, hold on to them for eternity.
What do you do with them? He kind of like pokes at one of them.
Well, they give us power. Much like how you consume the souls of dragons.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, again, we don't need to talk long. I know it's, timing is weird here, so let's not dawdle. I'll give you this blessing, and, you'll reward me by, sending souls my way whenever you get the chance.
What do you mean sending them your way? Just offing people?
You'll see. And he holds out a hand, like offering if you would come forward.
I step forward, but I don't like take the hand or anything.
Yes. And then he kind of stands up because you didn't walk like all the way forward. And then he like puts his hand around your neck and begins to tighten. And as he does, his claws sort of dig into your skin, and where they dig in, they make a mark. And you can feel your life sort of being drained from you, and then he lets go and laughs. Well, that'll do it. Good luck. Send what you can. I appreciate your work. And then he goes back to his throne and sits down. And he sort of has like any last things to say before I bamf you out of here?
Terran's taken aback and still not quite sure whether or not he agreed before he got grabbed. So he's just trying to figure out what just happened, so he doesn't say anything.
Alright, well, anyways. Bahamut's chosen. What a catch. Good luck saving the material plane. Farewell. And he bamps you out. And you get this. It's in your features. Wait, where is it? Oh, did I fuck it up? There, and now it's in your features. And so Terran appears to be looking into Mount Celestia, but is not. And Johoff, you are in a room full of what appear to be your sleeping friends. Or at least incapacitated.
Yeah, I'll just finally go, oh, fuck it, and just get up off the floor and walk over to Hannah.
Okay. And Hannah sort of looks at you as you kind of enter the center of the room, and she holds up a hand as if to say, not for you.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then I turn and go back and sit against the wall.
But as you turn, you feel your hammer, which I guess we haven't really established. Do you have it like on a belt? How are you storing your hammer?
I don't know, I just keep it in my pants, I guess.
Sure. But you feel your pants
Wedged in the
pulsate? You feel the hammer
Sounds
sort of
right.
tug and pull you a direction.
I look at Hannah and go, what the fuck is going on?
And she looks confused. But as you sort of draw out the hammer, you see it pulled almost magnetically towards Arborea. Or Arborea, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And she sort of stares at it curiously with you.
I guess I'll follow the hammer.
Okay. As you walk with the hammer towards Arborea, it begins to like get pulled even more strongly magnetically, and the hammer, as it gets close to the sigil, sort of leaps from your hand and hits the ground, and where it hits the ground, immediately the symbol lights, and the hammer is just kind of sitting on the ground, standing up with this swirling light around it.
Yeah, I look at Hannah kind of quizzically, like trying to get something from her, some kind of feedback.
She shrugs, but smiles.
Thanks for nothing, right? And then I look into it.
And as you do, you find yourself, you feel like you're falling down, 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 down a long hole into darkness. And eventually the darkness, which feels like minutes, begins to subside as little motes of light begin to flicker, little fireflies. And it begins to brighten up just slightly so that you can see all around you a thick fey forest full of sort of flying butterflies that are luminescent, and fireflies, and little motes of light, and a thick canopy above you. You find yourself in the place that you had momentarily seen when you were almost killed.
Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of turn slowly around and get a lay of the land.
Yeah, it's just thick woods. It's almost impossible to tell which direction is north or south, or even if there is one. You feel incredibly disoriented, and yet at peace. It's a sort of calming place, despite its complete and total lack of directionality.
Well, fuck me. This is something.
And sort of a figure begins to walk towards you through the trees very elegantly. At first you almost don't notice them because they seem to sort of glide across the ground without disturbing any of the nature, until this figure appears. And he goes, "That could be arranged." And gives you a wink.
Is it like, am I clear about who it is?
You have no idea who this is.
Yeah.
Standing in front of you is a figure with long golden hair with both feminine and masculine features, pointy elvish ears, just sort of elegantly standing, now leaning against the tree, watching you sort of inquisitively. He goes, "I didn't expect, well, you."
So, what is this? Some kind of wooded brothel, then?
Well, it can be, depending on my mood.
Yeah, look, I ain't much for games, so say your piece, or, let me figure out how to get back to fuck my friends wherever they is.
Yeah, I'm kind of in control here, so maybe, show a little bit of respect.
Excuse me, or apologies, but say your piece, please.
He smiles at you. Says, "Well, I suppose we can just get over with it quickly. Can I see that hammer of yours?" And you find it in your hand once again.
Well, it's not exactly in my nature to surrender a weapon when I'm in a strange place by myself.
And as you're saying that, he just holds out a hand, and the hammer instantly blinks to his hand.
Yeah, but in this particular case, I suppose I can let you have it. There you go, yeah.
He smiles and he says, "Still as beautiful as the day I made it. But what could you expect? It's mastercraft."
Should I leave the two of you alone for a minute?
He sort of frowns at you. "Would you so quickly part with this hammer?"
Well, I didn't say I wasn't gonna come back for it. but you seem like you was having a moment.
Well, perhaps. But no, I don't need but a few seconds. And you see him kind of hover his hand over the hammer, and he begins to sort of modify, he's sort of casting a spell, enchanting the hammer very quickly, sort of with flourishes and sort of dancing his hands around as he does it. And then he goes, well, that should do it. And he sort of looks at you curiously. Says, do you know what this is?
You was referring to the hammer?
Yes.
Oh, I believe it's a hammer.
He sort of looks at you, disappointed, and says, God, I can't believe it ended up in your hands. You know, I gave it to that monk, and I thought he seemed well put together. Didn't expect him to leave it in some dungeon for 1,000 years. Total waste. And for what? How did you even get past his riddle? Bet somebody had to explain it to you.
Look, I'm sorry it ended up with someone you were hoping would be better. I didn't exactly expect to get it, but here we is.
Very well. Well, when you take this with you, if you happen across a monk with your, well, abilities, who is more interested in saving the material plane or anything of that nature, then please hand it off. I can't have this thing lost in a dungeon for 1,000 years again.
Well, who says I was not interested in saving the material plane?
You don't seem interested in much of anything.
Yeah, well, you don't even know me. We don't even know who each other is. We haven't even introduced ourselves. You're making some pretty swift judgments there, my friend.
Very well. I'm Coralon. And you are...
I'm sorry, John, that broke up just a little bit.
Oh, his name is Coralon.
What? Well, it's nice to meet you, Coral. I am Joe Hoff.
Very well. Well, well, anyways, I suppose I shouldn't be too harsh.
You seemed very disappointed in my answer. This was a hammer, so would you mind filling me in on what it is exactly I've got here?
Yes, it is a masterpiece. It is my masterpiece. In fact, it is my chosen. See, well, I can only tell you so many things. Not in the sense that your head will explode, though it might, I don't actually know. But in the sense that I'm not allowed to. And I'll leave that up to the time gods. They have very strange rules. But leave it to say, a number of gods have aligned their interests, so to speak, and chosen, let's say, champions. Well, I, being much smarter than all of them, know that champions die very easily. Sometimes they get squished or eaten by krakens or, I don't know, turned into giant beings of light, to give a few examples. Anyways, I was smart enough to put my chosen in a hammer, because a hammer can be wielded by, well, just about anyone.
Right. Okay. So this hammer's got somebody inside it then?
it's got my essence inside it. You didn't find it strange that you were able to fly through the sky with it?
Well, sure, but it's hardly the first strange thing I've seen since leaving home.
I suppose that's fair. Very well. Well, I've unlocked more of its potential, and I'll unlock more when, well, you're capable of handling it. Try to contact me in, I don't know, a couple of months, say. That is, assuming you are still interested in saving the material plane. If you change your mind, then please pass this hammer on to the, most reputable monk you can find.
What you got in mind with saving the material plane?
Again, not allowed to say. Time wizards and time gods and all that.
So I'll just have to do what I feel is best for saving the material plane then?
Yes, as a general rule, just follow the lead of the other chosen.
Right. Well, thanks for this, I guess. I will do my best with it, and do my best to hand it off to someone worthwhile.
Very well. And Johoff, Willem spoke very highly of you. Good luck. And he bamps you out of here. And one by one, you all begin to pop out. I would say... I'd say you basically all come to about the same time. And you find yourself in a room, Hannah sort of sitting cross-legged in the center of this glyph. And she sort of swirls her hands, and the emanating light begins to stop.
Can I make an insight check to see if she picked up on what happened to me?
Yeah. She does not appear to have noticed it.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna give Joe off his thing. Hold on. You'll find it in your active abilities.
Thank you.
And I think I got everybody. Should I try restarting the Foundry thing to see if we can get everybody in? Alright,
Sure.
Yeah.
here goes nothing.
Spooky god portals. Ooh.
That should be the description of this session.
Nailed the session summary already. 2 lines.
I had a pretty good summary of this last session, where it just said you fought orcs and found pool under tree. Thought that was pretty close to accurate. Alright, the server's up. I'm gonna take a quick break. Good luck everybody getting back in. Or actually, maybe I should wait till one person connects to make sure it's working for anybody. Is anybody getting in?
Nope.
Still loading.
Yeah, stuff was just spinning.
Okay, I'm going to restart the networking stuff then. I think I have a new login now. Try that one. The white turtle one.
Ooh.
Think we're good here.
It's looking pretty good for me.
Yeah. Login successful, joining.
Okay. I'm gonna
That's
go.
what I'm at too.
Pete, be right back.
Gosh, great success.
Yeah. Critical success. We're all in.
Alright, I'm back. How are we doing? We got 1, 2, 3. Is Izzy? You can get in? How are we doing?
I'm all good.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
in.
good too.
The only
As
person
am I.
that's not in is Laurel, as far as I can see. Oh, for the record, when you come out of the portal, you all get a long rest from that.
Yay!
And Damon, you, with your clock-like knowledge of the material plane, can detect that 7 hours have passed.
I'm really glad I decided to look into one of the pools instead of just fidgeting in the corner for half a day.
Yeah, that would have been pretty boring.
assuming we still have our exhaustion point.
Nope, it's gone now.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, any debuffs you had are gone.
Okay, so we took a long rest too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Sorry.
what's
With the
happening?
long rest,
What was that, Dylan?
would the long rest let us change spells if we needed to, or is that a more of a narrative step?
I'll say
changing spells?
sure, you can do that.
Okay, cool.
I'll say that, especially Varel, just sitting like on the pond edge for a little while, just meditates on his new spells.
Nice.
We lose our point of exhaustion, right?
Correct. Okay. So, you all sort of come to, having stared into this pond, feeling refreshed and restored, and all of you finding a mark on your body, much like Varel's, sort of luminescent blue mark. Now, I didn't want to railroad this too hard, so I figure I'll let you guys decide where the mark appeared on your body, but I also didn't want the gods to non-consensually, well, aside from Asmodeus, I thought that one made more sense.
Yeah. And that was on his neck.
Yes, so Terran has a, like a reddish glyph on his neck.
Is it like clearly infernal?
Yeah, but it's not like square front and center or something like that. It's sort of like if you wanted to hide it with clothing, you could probably pull it off.
Yeah. He'll kind of shift around his cloak so it's a little bit covered.
I guess Vosner will have his sort of on his upper bicep. So
Okay.
you can't see it when he has his cloak on, but when he takes it off, he doesn't hide it.
Yeah.
Do we know what it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I can sort of let you guys design them if you want. I'm not like railroading the design too much, but as long as it's on theme.
Awesome. I'll have to think of something.
I dig it.
And in the center of the room, you guys see Hannah, who's actually like napping, but she's like floating on the water, sort of like back floating in a pool, just kind of hovering over the floor casually. She looks happy. And Isolde, with your keen perception, you notice for the first time that on Hannah's legs, which are usually sort of covered up with cloth, which are now sort of exposed at this moment, you see a number of glyphs on her.
Glyphs of different planes, different deities?
Yes. Like, 12.
Whoa. I will start trying to like mentally catalog them.
Yeah, you just get the feeling that a number of them are gods you've never heard of, maybe lesser gods. but she sort of has their mark as though she's achieved their blessing. That would be sort of what you've put together.
I'm gonna take a step towards her and kind of look around at everyone standing by different portals and also make note of where they're standing. And just call out to her. I suppose we've done what we were meant to do here.
She sort of like
How long have
stirs
you-
awake and sort of falls in the pool, kind of, in a way. Kind of stands up.
I'm sorry it took so long. Was this your first time here?
She nods.
How did you know that all of this was here?
She kind of furrows her brow for a little bit, and then like pulls up a pant leg and shows like a whole bunch of the glyphs, and she just sort of like gestures generally to that.
Huh. I suppose they tell you a lot of things.
She nods. And she walks over to see, where did you say your glyph was?
I'm gonna say that, like, you know where her tattoos go down the left side of her neck?
Mm-hmm.
She has a new kind of reddish one that runs, like, straight down her, like, windpipe.
Oh, okay. She comes over
It's the
and
power.
admires it and like looks excited about it.
Taryn kind of starts to walk away, like trying to be like inconspicuous, but kind of like goes to like join Damon, so that like maybe Hannah won't look over his.
She's gonna insight you, and unless you want to try to like deception or sleight of hand or something to whatever you feel to obscure the fact. She sees what you're doing and looks suspicious, but she does not step out of she doesn't like engage you.
Okay.
Damon will ask Taryn quietly as he walks by, "Did you see anything?"
I saw Bahamut for a second.
I see. Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Did you see anything?
I did. I saw the city of Mechanus. It was quite wonderful.
What was it like?
It was orderly, clean, sterile. Many things to appreciate about that place.
Taryn nods and says, I suppose order can be a good thing.
Yes, it's so wonderful to have purpose and know what it is. And like at this point, it's like clear that Damon's almost like being wistful, and
Yeah.
is talking almost more to himself.
Yeah, like Taryn's like almost cringing like at every like line you say.
Yeah, I don't notice.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to like hide it, but
Mm-hmm. And then he'll sort of shake himself out and say, "But you saw Bahamut. That is good news. And then I will like look and see if Hannah's gotten any closer, and then I'll lower my voice and say, I had worried you might see something else."
yeah, well, hopefully Bahamut's power can prevail. But yeah, I saw him in Celestia. I'm gonna
Almost
roll a deception
not.
because he is really dancing around a lot.
Yeah. You can roll insight on Damon if you'd like.
Yeah, I guess I will.
I guess I will, he says.
That's
It's
amazing.
literally the only thing that would work.
Yeah.
He's clear, like he hasn't said anything untrue, but he's clearly leaving out most of what happened.
Yeah. Damon like realizes like he's been really wrapped up in his own thoughts and like then stops to look at Taryn more seriously and will say, Taryn, is there something else?
Another time, maybe.
Damon looks more serious and like the pleasure and joy at seeing Mechanist is fading a little, knowing that something happened. But he'll nod and just say, another time.
Taryn's going to leave the pool room.
Okay.
It's up here, right?
What's everybody else doing?
I'm gonna go see if Damon knows why Taryn's leaving. But we can do someone else's conversation first.
Yes, I will, as you approach, say, Captain, I trust you had a good experience?
Oh, yes, unexpected, but yes, I was able to speak to Ilmater.
Well,
You
that
look
is what.
happy? What did you see?
Yes, I saw the city of Macinus. It was wonderful, perfect, pristine. I very much like it there. Though there are some things that I had hoped to accomplish which I did not.
Do you understand yourself a little better now?
I am not certain that I understand myself any better, but I have hope that I may, which has been lacking lately.
I suppose that's encouraging.
What were you able to learn from Ilmater?
Oh, not a lot of specifics. Only that there are important things for us to do beyond what we are doing for the guild. And, that I'm on the right track. Which, as I've told you before, I was not always certain of, so it is good.
Yes. Yes, it is so nice to learn that you are fulfilling your purpose, even if you are not certain what it is. Isn't that a wonderful feeling, Captain?
It is. I don't know if I've ever heard you speak of purpose like that before.
Yes, well, it is a nice place, this room. Even the room itself, so orderly, so purposeful. And I'll just like stare at like the, symmetry of the way the glyphs are laid out.
She chuckles softly and says, I'm happy for you.
Yes, I hope everyone else had good experiences as well. It looks as if Hannah was able to provide something for all of us.
She'll turn back towards the others, first to Johoff, and just kind of read what's on his face.
Yeah, Varel notices him standing adjacent as well.
Yeah, he's got a pretty cloudy expression on his face. Does not look happy.
She'll walk over that way.
Damon will just tag along.
Is everyone doing all right?
Of quite.
Good. Johoff, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna go check on Taryn. And then Jock will head off.
Veyral will walk up to Hannah here and say, "Seems a shame you were here to receive the gift as well, and you did not. It was a Mythalar you needed, correct?"
She nods.
And then, is Mel within earshot since he's the one who speaks for her?
Mel isn't in the room.
Ah, damn. I guess I'll ask Hannah, do you know anything about this Mythalar? Where it's from, what it's called, where it may be?
She draws a crude shape of a white dragon in the water. The light sort of stays where she draws it.
Okay. Veyral will nod and pull from an inside pocket strips of ivory wrapped in herbs and spice and incense. And let's see here. He will use those and hold that image of the white dragon in his mind, understanding that it has to do with this Mythalar to give Hannah access to whatever she needs. And I will cast... it takes 10 minutes, so I suppose I should ask Izzy if we have the time, but I was going to cast Legend Lore to see if we could get more information on it.
Name or describe a person, place, or object. Okay.
And it said the more information you already have, the more precise and detailed the information you receive is, so I was trying to collect some information about it and make that explicit. That it's with the white dragon, that it's for Hannah to gain access to what she needs.
Yeah. Okay. So it's name or describe a person, place, or object. I'm just trying to figure out like what degree of information I should give you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though I guess it consumes all of that stuff. Or at least it consumes 250 gold worth of the incense.
I had 2 in my inventory, I just burned 1.
Right, yeah. So for 250 gold worth of incense, you describe the object as it's been told to you, and it is a unique enough object that you begin to get like faint pictures of it and a history of it while you're sort of working on that spell. I was just going to allow other people to do stuff in case, but then I'll give you the results in a little bit.
Sounds good.
So Hannah sort of sits down cross-legged next to you, watching you cast this spell. She's sort of interested too. Does anybody else do anything?
We're under the tree, right? Or close
Correct.
to the tree?
Yeah, you're literally right under the tree. If you look up, you see a canopy of the base root system of the tree. Should have been like a dugout hole at the base of it.
Vosner will, I guess, go to a route that's easily accessible. In the chamber, sort of like reach out and put his hand on it and just concentrate and sort of like, not necessarily commune with the tree, but get to know the space, get to know the tree.
Yeah.
Really well.
When you do, you feel a very powerful tree that I don't give too much stuff. You get the sense that this tree is just infused with energy more than any other tree you've felt, and yet you also feel that it's sort of not whole at the moment, that something's missing from it, that it craves something that it does not have, and that it feels sort of alone almost. And yet you also feel sort of a connectedness with it. You've sort of done the first step necessary for your travel via plants connection.
Awesome. So, yeah, Vosner will just, after he's done communing with the trees, gonna look around, see where everyone is. I guess not seeing Mel or Taryn, and is it Joop also left?
Yeah, it's a question.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess he'll go to and try and find them. See what they're up to.
Do we want to do anything with anybody else in this scene before I do the legend lore part? Okay. So, Faerol, you consume a lot of expensive spells, materials, and in the smoke in front of you, a scene begins to play out, and Hannah is sort of watching it intently. What you see is a very small-looking orb being crafted by a powerful artificer, and it's on sort of his workbench, and he's got a number of figures around who are helping in this construction, and it's in this magnificent building, and you see him wielding it, and as they turn it on and put things in front of it, various magical effects begin to take place. They put like a blade of grass in front of it, and the blade of grass like grows and then shrivels suddenly, and then just turns into ash in front of it. And then you skip ahead a couple years to this strange orb being contained in a sort of arcanum, this sort of building full of magical oddities, and all of a sudden there's this explosion, and all of the arcanum in the room, which are glowing, dim, and you see everyone in the building begin to panic as the city that this is housed in begins to fall from the sky. And then you fast forward another couple hundred years to this object just being strangely dormant, but emitting a faint light in a set of ruins. And in this ruins, you see a hooded figure come up and grab this item, and he begins to walk away with it. And as he walks away with it, he's trekking across long distances of snow, and as he does, you see him age rapidly, and all of his bones all of his skin begins to wither, and as he's walking across this plains up north, he collapses and dies, and this orb lays dormant on the ground. And next to this orb, you see a small sapling begin to grow, and as it grows, the tree gets bigger and bigger and bigger at a very fast rate as time transpires. And then you sort of skip ahead another couple hundred years, and the tree is the size of a mountain, and this orb lays underneath it at its base. And then again, another 100 years, and you see that this orb has been erected on a pedestal, and a white dragon with menacing eyes comes and scoops it off of its pedestal and removes it from the room, flying across Faerun to a glacier where this orb is placed next to a number of dragon eggs. And that is is where you find it in your mind right now, sitting in the nest of a dragon's hoard.
That is a lot to take in. Very, very cool. Okay. So, I guess I say to both Izzy and Hannah, the past several hours have shown that the gods have ordained what we're up to. And it's clear, and he gestures at Hannah and all of the divine markings on her, and says it's clear that she also has been ordained to help us on this mission. I think what we ought to do next is help her to accomplish what should have been accomplished today, and find this Mythalar. I know where it is.
Do you think that we could get it without conflict with that ancient white dragon?
Without conflict, that would seem to be a miracle. I'm certain there will be conflict.
I'm not
And yet-
certain that we're ready.
No, perhaps not, but I believe this is what must be done. Can you help us? He'll ask Hannah.
She sort of looks at you pensively and shakes her head no.
I see.
But then she draws another figure in the air, and it looks like a younger silver dragon flying through the air.
Your friend Meladrinth, he can help us.
She nods excitedly.
I look at Izzy, as captain.
It is a lot to think about. If all of us received blessings from our gods, then we are certainly stronger than we've ever been, but I think it will be quite the task.
I look at Hannah and I say, is it urgent that you ascend?
She doesn't know how to answer it.
It is a good question, Vero. I mean, I'm not sure what you saw, but it seems that something terrible is coming. And maybe not urgent isn't something that we have to do tomorrow, but I don't think it is something we should delay too long.
Imminent, at least.
Yes. I don't fully understand ascension either. Hannah, is this a way of gaining another blessing, or is this something else entirely?
She looks like she's trying to find a way to describe it, and she can't.
I'm sorry. I know this is difficult. We will do our best, though, to regain the Mythalar and make sure that the ritual can happen.
She gives you a thumbs up.
If we cannot go immediately, though, do you think it is safe for you and Mel to keep traveling with us? Or would you want to stay here in the sanctuary?
She sort of moves back towards the center and points to the ground.
I figured as much. She kind of exchanges looks with Veril. Maybe we are better off seeking a few additional boons before we, I guess, try to find this dragon.
Seems appropriate. Where to?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, you had mentioned that city before, Etherin. And I think Johoff was right that Simorvin going to Etherin might attract other people racing for the same sort of things that he is. But it may be a difficult task, and at the same rate we've been gone from Bryn Shander a week or so, and I certainly don't want to see my hometown destroyed either. I will have to, I guess, do some scrying and send some messages and see perhaps where we are most needed.
A good plan. Time to think.
Yes.
Suppose we first ought to catch up with our friends.
I think you're right.
Okay. I'm gonna say you guys are outside, unless you guys want to be in the interior temple part.
Can I say one thing really quickly while Veril was doing the 10-minute casting?
What the fuck was that, Dylan?
That was after a long rest.
That was some fucking hacks. Alright, very well. Sorry, what were you saying, Will?
Oh, while Veril is doing that casting, she would also be doing a casting Word of Recall to make this a designated sanctuary for them to return to.
Got it. Yeah, it works.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a 6th level spell. Good lord.
You got 6 level spells.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's quite serious.
Get to the end game, baby. Alright, so let me activate this. You guys find yourselves out on the steps, and let me say, before Isolde and Veril show up, I guess Johoff followed Terran out? Maybe that scene happens first?
Yeah, I mean, Joe is just gonna come up to Terran and just kind of stand next to him and then just kind of say under his breath, "Hey, more questions than answers, I suppose."
Yeah, that seems to sum it up. When he gets out there, he sees Terran is just kind of sitting on the steps, going through Missile's notes again. So when he comes up, he kind of... What was it?
Oh, just find anything interesting in there?
Never do, but I keep looking, you know? I feel like there's something important here, but can't put a finger on it. And he kind of like throws up a hand. It's like, it'd be nice if he could write legibly every once in a while.
Yeah, well, I can't make heads nor tails of that. You seem pretty shook. You all right?
What it is. There's nothing for me with the gods.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I don't know you missing out on much. I met some guy, I think was maybe a god, and he was a massive prick, so, you know, count your blessings, I suppose.
So.
Well, look, whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I doubt the gods are a third of as clever as they seem to think they are.
Yeah, our take on things.
But until then, apparently we have to save an entire fucking plane of existence.
Yeah, I suppose. Although maybe you heard more than I did, but all I got was, something bad's happening. We can't tell you what or when or where, and you got to deal with it. We can't tell you how or why. So that leaves things pretty fucking open, as near as I can tell.
Yeah. That seems about right. I wonder if there's just always something bad happening and they just always say this, but it's never about anything in particular. You know? Just kind of assume something's fucked up.
Yeah, the world's a big fucking place. I can't imagine that everything's as peaches and cream across the whole continent all the time. That's probably true. I can't help but wonder whether, for me, I've reached a point where save the material plane or whatnot might mean doing something other than fighting baddies and ghouls.
What else is there, though?
Well,
Like, if they wanted something different than that, they should have found a different group.
maybe. I've been thinking about this, between you and me. 12 towns are pretty fucked up these days, and I imagine that left a fair number of little shits without parents. If the devastation we've seen anywhere around has been any indication. That's something I know quite a bit about. Maybe for me, saving the material plane means taking care of some homeless little shits. I don't know. Just something I've been thinking about. I don't have any more answers than the gods, I suppose.
Well, you would be showing more interest in their fates than the gods are if you do that, so.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Well, I don't know. If they ain't gonna nail things down for us any more than that, just give us a very sort of vague, save the world. Well, as someone who's one of them little shits once myself, having someone come along and, give you a place to live where you didn't have to scrounge for a living, that feels very much like saving the world.
Taryn kind of nods. Yeah, I think, just need to keep doing the next thing in front of us. And hopefully that will lead to something, saving the world or saving some kids. It just kind of trails off.
Well, look, if whatever does kind of create a spot where we can take care of kids like that, you're always welcome to come alongside, be part of the project.
I don't know how much good I can do for him, but maybe I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, we'll keep it in mind anyway. And then Joff's just gonna kind of fall silent and sit to him.
He'll kind of return to his notes when the conversation kind of ends.
Do you want to make an intelligence roll on the notes? Or an
Why
investigation? And then tell me what you're looking for.
He's still looking for whatever Missile has figured out about Insolid.
Yeah, and I think you got a pretty good roll the last time on this, and it just keeps coming back to Yidrin has the answer. Like you found another dead end in his reasoning where it just says like must see, some like Netherese name for a ward in Yidrin.
Alright. He was also kind of like, it's part of that, just kind of in light of what Asmodeus said, like just looking at like what actually does Missile think a soul is for it to be ensouled in something. Like what is going on there? Because Terran hasn't given it any real thought before.
Got it. Yeah, okay. With a 20, I'd say you determine that Missile believes souls to be non-material, only created by divine beings.
Awesome. And Vero's an epiphenomenalist.
Missile's a substance bonus, but merchant properties. Yeah.
Yeah, but his research keeps bringing him back to pantheism, man.
Yeah. We're all just different forms of one substance.
Yeah, dude. Drop some dew in the grass, I get you. And let's say Damon comes out next. Did Damon follow after? I can't remember.
Damon was kind of just lingering in the room and sort of observed the magic that Farrell was doing. And then, would have idly walked out at some point.
Okay, so Vosner comes out next.
Yeah. And he'll come out and say to both Johoff and Taryn, Did you meet, I don't know, a god or two? It was all disconcerting.
Taryn will nod and be like, I saw Bahamut for a moment, but we didn't speak.
Johoff, what about you? Anything interesting?
I met a guy who, I wasn't sure if it was a guy or a gal, but somewhere in between perhaps. Anyway, offered to have sex with me and then turned out to be a total ass. So, just that.
Well, it seems like you live a very consistent life then. I came across that moon goddess again. And, it seems that that the material plane is still under threat of something. It's kind of haunted me for a while.
Any hint about what the threat is or how we'll stop it?
They were vague. But she did say that there are threads. Threads that connect whatever the problem is to the Shadowfell. But we have to look for them. and they're there. But after pressing a little bit, there's not much more than that.
Yeah, imagine
And
that.
yeah. I don't know. The last time I was there in the Shadowfell, there was a person there, and they said that I was early again. Like I had been there multiple times. I had multiple dreams, but just a lot of being early. I don't know what time has to do with it. So I thought Pharaoh would have some more answers. I even thought it was him, but I guess I'm not as clever as some other people.
Well, I figure we'll just keep doing the next thing in front of us until it either works out or it doesn't, and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. Were you guys gifted anything? Any sort of special power or charm or something?
Taryn shakes his head.
And so Vosner, like, yeah, I got this burning sensation on my shoulder. And he shows him sort of like a little mark. This is new.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Perception check now. Yeah.
Actually, can I use my detect magic feature to see if I can like figure out what it is?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. You can just cast that at will now.
Yep. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so you detect it to be a enchantment spell that is like so high in level that it literally can't be dispelled. Like, that's what
Okay.
you glean from it.
Alright. So Vosner would see my eyes kind of go white for a second and then kind of nod and be like, that's a powerful sigil.
And as you cast it, kind of everything around you lights up, and you see all their various magical items, like Vosner's armor, and his tooth necklace, and I can't remember what else Vosner has, the staff, I guess. And Johoff's hammer and his tattoos, and Taryn, your own stuff lights up.
Yeah.
To yourself. And sort of as you're saying that, or doing that, out walks Isolde, Beryl, and Damon, and you see sort of glowing on each one of them various magical items, but also their marks. You see on Isolde the same thing on her neck, and then Beryl behind his head, and Damon sort of on his chest. There is this etching that's sort of faintly glowing underneath the hood, so to speak.
Awesome. And I'll drop it like almost immediately, just enough to see everything.
Well, I suppose we have a decision to make about where we are going next. Hannah is going to stay here. Is Mel out here at all?
You are standing at the top of a very tall pyramid, and down at the base of it, Mel is sitting in dragon form on the steps next to the sort of wisping, decaying corpse of his father.
We should talk to Mel about his plans, but maybe now is not the right time.
What are our plans? He looks
Well,
days older.
I think that we do need to get to the Mythalar, but I don't think that we're ready. I mean, before we entered that fight, Terran, you asked me if we were ready for this, and as much as I doubted whether or not we were, I'm glad to see that we got through it, but I don't think that I could with good conscience let us travel to Arviatur's lair. I don't think we're ready for that.
An ancient in her own lair seems beyond us to me too.
Yes. So,
Thankfully, we've got more pressing matters, right?
I think if we go to Kelvin's Con, we could both help the 10 towns and isolate our ancient white from her allies as well.
I think that's a good instinct. Yes. We know from what Veril said that they are closely tied together, so it would be a good thing to sever. And I do plan on checking in with my father and seeing how the war is progressing. But I think Kelvin's cairn would be a good next stop, and then perhaps we should talk about Simorven, what we are going to do about that situation.
Yeah.
I think Johov's warning was correct, that if anyone else has eyes on him, he is going to lead a lot of interested figures to Ithrin.
I too feel that Ithrin may be tied up in all of this.
Yes.
He kind of like lifts and puts down like Missel's notes when he says that, just kind of like.
Yeah. She'll notice. Unless you're trying to hide it.
Oh no, he was doing it intentionally. Like, hey, this is kind of why I'm drawn to it.
Yes, I think our path has been headed there, whether we knew it or not, for a while. But one thing at a time, we should see how Mel is doing, and I suppose see if he wants to accompany us as we move back towards Kelvin's cairn. I did, just so all of you know, I've set this place as a bit of a sanctuary for us, so if we are ever in like a really bad spot, or if we ever need to get here quickly, depending on how well rested I am, I can carry all of us. Maybe not including Mel, but all of us here immediately. So, hopefully we won't need to use it in a dire time, but it will make travel easier at least.
That's good to know. I too can come to this place, well, specifically through trees now. I feel like nature has granted me that. So,
Yeah, I'll say off screen, the head of the Dryad people maybe pulled Bosner aside and worked that out, like taught you some of their magic.
dope. That explain a little bit of that. There you go.
Good. Well then, I think we have a lot to catch up on. Maybe next time we are resting. But for now, let's go see how Mel is doing. And she'll kind of start descending. She's looked like a little bit throughout this entire conversation like she was also thinking about other things at the same time. As I'm sure many of us probably look like we've seen a whole lot of shit in the last 12 hours.
Yeah. And you find Mel in dragon form, and when he sees you approach, he switches into human form.
Sorry that your mission couldn't be completed today. And all the more sorry about this. She kind of nods towards the ancient dragon.
He nods. He says, "My mission is complete. It was just to get her here."
What will you do now?
Not quite sure.
Well, we are, I guess, balancing a lot of different priorities right now, but if you would like to accompany us, our next stop is fighting giants, trying to keep 10 towns from falling. Don't know if you have the interest or the energy, but the invitation stands.
He looks pretty beat up and says, "I perhaps shouldn't leave without my father guarding this place. Nothing would stop another attack like this."
I understand. And Hannah says that she wants to stay as well, so I assume you are still quite protective of her.
He nods, but he's still staring at his father.
While they're talking, Vosner will Druid craft some flowers and try and replicate a silver dragon's color the best he can, and sort of lay it next to the corpse.
He sort of coldly doesn't really address it.
Vera will walk up beside Mel and staring at the large dragon in front of us. We'll say, "When the time comes for revenge, I hope you'll let us know."
He nods. If you go to that lair, let me know.
When we do, I will.
He seems to appreciate that.
When Varel says that, Taryn kind of steps forward a little bit and says, "You will have your vengeance."
He looks over to you. And I'm going to say with his passive wisdom, he's going to see your mark unless you try to hide it. Are you like hiding it, like cover it up with a bunch of cloth?
He's kind of shifted his clothes around so that it's kind of covered, but he isn't like conspicuously hiding it. He's kind of hoping to let like it kind of get lost in his various like random scales and stuff, with it being predominantly covered.
Okay. He sees the mark on you and says, "Curious. Whose mark is that, Taryn?"
Taryn just kind of looks at him for a moment and just kind of shrugs and says, it's a story for another time.
He accepts that. And you see him sort of turn back into dragon form, and he turns to Taryn and says, "Be careful where you get your power from." And he flies away. He's just like flying in the sky around the tree, sort of doing patrols almost.
Can I look at Taryn and see, like, how uncomfortable he looks right now? Because, I mean,
Yeah,
she
insight.
caught the conversation, but I don't think she sees anything.
Taryn, roll, I don't know, deception if you're trying to hide your emotions.
Sure, why not?
Oh yeah, yeah. She doesn't pick up on whatever you're feeling, unless you openly feel it.
He's not like trying. He's a little bit annoyed, but he's not like uncomfortable. Or at least that's what you're getting.
She'll file that away for another day. Well, we have a long journey back. And
Yes,
she'll
how will we be getting back?
I figure the same way we got here. If Vosner's able.
Yep.
And we're going to Kelvin's Cairn.
Yes. It's kind of treacherous traveling if we were to travel straight there and not along the river. But I think flying, we should be okay.
Okay. Let me get that shit ready.
I would assume that she would know, like, you don't leave 10 towns and just go out on the ice plains, because there's shit out there.
Right. Yeah, so what you would know about Kelvin's Cairn is that it is a tall mountain and that there is rumored to be sort of a ancient sort of fortress within the mountain, but the only way to get in it is not from the top of the mountain, but through a lower area called the Dwarven Valley, which sort of leads to a cave entrance that goes up into the mountain. So if you were to try to go inside Kelvin's Cairn, the way you would do it is through the Dwarven Valley.
Okay. I would suggest that we go south. We can fly over some of the smaller settlements and see how they are doing on our way to the Dwarven Valley. We kind of have to go south of the cairn and then go in it that way.
Would it make sense to go to Care Koenig. Do we have like an actual map to look at?
You have the map
Yeah.
of Icewind Dale.
No,
It's
like
the
do
map
like
that her
the.
father gave us.
Okay, so like the characters have a map.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking like Taryn's not pulling this out of his like memory.
No, she's kind of like pulled it out and is holding it down so everyone can see it. And he's the one that marked all these areas of like, this is where the giants are and this is where the barbarians are.
Yeah, if we may be able to like restock before going there. And if we have to go south first, anyways, it'll be sort of on the way.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan, as good as one that we have.
Okay. So you guys are going to summon mounts and fly towards Care Koenig?
Yeah, she does tell the group that it is a particularly small settlement, so they shouldn't be looking for anything extravagant as far as a resupply, but they might be able to find shelter.
Okay. So, all right. You're not, I thought you were gonna do like a message and that kind of stuff. Sending. You're not.
Oh yeah, she usually does that like at the end of the day before they go to sleep,
Sure.
just in case they encounter stuff.
Okay. Yes. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. So, let's switch to some travel music, and let's do some traveling. So you guys are doing the standard. Vosner is flying. Who's on Vosner's back?
Usually Izzy.
Okay.
What time of day is it though? We've done a lot of shit
Oh,
in
that's a
one day.
good point. Yeah, it is. The sun is setting and it is nighttime. You guys are all kind of out of whack because you. Well, I guess it's like evening. Yeah, so sun is setting. It's like, let's say. Oh, the sun should have already be set. Okay, well, that's kind of fucky. Anyways, let's say now it's 8 p.m.
Do we want
It is
just
better to
stay
fly by
here?
night.
Yeah,
Oh.
Taryn would say we should, if we feel up to it, we should just put as much ground between, or get as close to Care Koenig as we can. There may be an urgency.
Alright. And when it gets too dark or more likely too cold, I suppose Vero can build us a tower.
He'll nod.
Alright.
Okay, so.
Do what we can tonight.
So our normal travel system revised, was that a fast is 15 miles, but that's on 30 movement. A normal's 12 miles, so that's on 30 movement actually. And you guys are traveling at approximately 60, so you can do the 120 or the 24 miles. You could literally get there in a 4-hour period if you flew straight there.
We can certainly try.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So you guys, let's do a. Where's my travel thing? Oh, it's North Faron map. That's why. Give me a. God, I'm looking at how tiny the Icewind Dale part is. Give me who's on Scout, who's on Guide, who's on. I guess the stragglers made up by the birds. Yeah, that should be fine. So, who's on Scout?
Zolda.
Okay, and Vosner's on Guide then?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, roll Survival for me, Vosner, and roll Scout for me, Zolda.
Alright, survival.
Yeah, you guys crush it. Osner is like leading the pack, flying through the air, and as he does, you guys are able to just like hit different, you know, I don't know, air pockets the right way, and it's like you find like the warm air and you just like breeze through the sky. And as you approach Caer Koenig, you look down and see that it is completely in ruins. Smoking, heaping ruins, and empty. On the sort of remaining towers, some orcish figures sort of stand with crossbows, and as you get a little bit too close, they hurl shots at you, but they go wide because you are still too far out. What do you do?
If I could call to Izzy from wherever it is we're in the sky, I'd say we should land far from here and move in.
Is that what you guys decide to do? Did Laurel's mic die?
Oh. How far up are we? Can we see anything of Caer Dineva?
Caer Dineva is in the far distance and looks to have suffered a similar fate. In fact, you know it was destroyed a long time ago.
Okay. She'll nod at Veril and kind of circle Vosner around back, kind of towards the cairn and away from the city a little bit.
Okay.
And then land at enough distance that they wouldn't be visible.
Yeah, you guys find yourselves out in the plains, but it is now, I guess, like late. It's like, let's say, 2 a.m., and you're out in the plains.
About how far are we from Karakon? Koenig?
I'd say you landed 2 miles away from it.
Rats. Okay, thank you.
Would we have landed 2 miles to the north or to the west?
I'm on the Icewind Dale map, so I've got your... I mean, I can move you a little bit closer. It's up to you guys.
I think that's fine.
Okay. I just didn't know if we wanted to like finish it closer to the Dwarven Valley.
Sure, if you guys want to. That's totally up to you guys.
I think she's interested in going into the city and seeing what's left of it. Or
Okay,
how
cool.
long ago it was destroyed.
Sure. Okay, as you guys get a little bit closer to the city, it looks, make a perception roll, and let's say somebody make an investigation roll.
Are we like approaching it on foot right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks as though the city has been breached by traditional means, like the walls have been bashed down by massive clubs, and you're unable to discern how long ago this was, but you could say, like, not recent. It's been broken down for a little while.
I think it might serve us best to get a night's rest now. And maybe leave Caer Koenig for another time. I don't think there's anything we can do for the city now.
Are there any tracks of like maybe survivors or refugees within the area we're investigating?
Make a survival for me. You are able to discern that if there were survivor, like humanoid footprints that aren't massive and orcish, they look like they kind of went towards the lake, maybe to get in boats. But it's such chaos here that it's hard to discern anything, and it's been a while and there's been fresh snow and wind, so it's it's a little hard to discern if anybody actually escaped.
Or I convey that, and be a little optimistic about it. Like, all might not be lost. Maybe some from the city got out. So.
If they did, they would have either moved south to East Haven or maybe to Bryn Shander. I guess I will ask my father what he knows.
Yeah, that would be good. I guess the sooner we deal with the giants, the better.
Agreed. And she'll kind of look to Veril as far as getting them out of the cold and the wind.
Yeah, Varel will express some reluctance to stay for a long rest, or to stay for the night. And he'll cite both the fact that if we're moving to Caer Konig, the cover of night could be advantageous, and also the portent of Mistress Mark that gives him certain favorable advantage in certain situations is especially good right now, and he's somewhat unwilling to take a long rest.
I suppose if we all feel fresh enough from our encounters that we could go into the city and see if we can at least get the orcs out.
What's our Taryn's asking Vosner and Isolde, what is your power left with your magic? Because I know you both cast fairly powerful spells already today. Vosner with his summoning the eagles.
Yeah. What spell slot was that? Fifth. I have a little. Oh crap. Well, I could. I'm okay, but if we want to use my more powerful forms, we have to be judicious with it. So.
Alright. I'm happy to go in, but I haven't done anything strenuous today, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I felt pretty, I guess, restored after our time in the Cosmic Wheel, so other than setting up that sanctuary, I am pretty fresh. It is almost as if the insane events of today aren't weighing on me anymore.
Rest assured that should we find ourselves in a dire situation, we have the blessings, the special blessings from the gods to overcome it.
All right. Well, then I suppose we move towards Caer Konig. We'll see what we can see.
Okay. Are there any large trees around?
Not the kind you would need. As you guys approach Caer Konig, you find a small contingent of orcs there who seem undersupplied and basically unaccompanied by reinforcements, and there are no giants posted there, and you are able to dispatch all of them pretty much with ease. We just abstract it as you infiltrate the city. you find just a handful of them up on towers sort of holding it, but you're able to just plow through them one by one, dismantling them until you make your way into the city, which is completely torn apart, not much remaining of it. It's almost as if the giants who were here destroyed it out of spite rather than conquered it.
Are there bodies?
The streets are littered with corpses, which are not even piled up. They're just sort of like out and about, and you guys have to sort of step over the dead bodies as you move, which are now sort of frozen to the ground.
Oof. Yeah.
This is not what I was expecting.
It's quite a lot. Are there any, I mean, I guess there aren't really any buildings left standing. But were there temples in Caer Konig that are maybe just ruins now?
Yeah, you get the feeling that there was like a central church there, to sort of a general worshipping place for various good-aligned gods. And there was like a castle sort of in the upper corner of it that sort of had the walls that came out and sort of included the town square in it. But other than that, it's a rather small place. It's mostly just like a little fortress out here.
Mm. Well, it is at least safer to spend the night now, I guess, without the orcs. But this is dreadful. She seems to have be having a hard time taking it all in, and kind of finds a way to situate herself so she's looking at a particular part of the town square where there aren't a ton of bodies.
Vosner will reach out and put his hand on her shoulder and just say, We'll make them pay for this. And you sort of see his eyes fleck green, sort of like when he gets upset, especially when he's in his other forms. So you just see that sort of flare of natural magic in his eyes.
"'Tis not revenge that I am worried about. It is the living. And how soon this will be done to them."
I understand.
And she'll find a place to sit down and send a message to her father.
Okay. What is your message?
We are making our way back towards Bryn Shander. Caer Konig is in ruins. Do you have news? And that's it.
You hear a very frantic. Oh shit! Did you all just disconnect?
Yup.
Yes, his connection got lost.
I just reestablished.
All right. I just had like all of you
Reestablished.
drop instantly. Do I need to restart it or something?
Let me see if I can still cast stuff.
No, you're disconnected.
Yep.
But the people who are reconnecting, it's working, right?
I can move my character on the other map.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, it just reloaded pretty quickly.
Okay, no worries. Okay, you hear a frantic. So now it's like 4 a.m. and you hear your father awake, not like sleepy, say, "Barbarians in the trees, Bryn Shander under attack. Giants from the north. And he says trouble in the market. And that's all he gives you. He's trying to be as efficient as he can.
What a mensch.
Smart man.
Yeah. She'll stand back up very quickly from where she was meditating. I think we need to go back to Bryn Shander. My father says that they're under attack.
Well, no time like the present.
I agree.
We will still be outsiders, but hopefully they will be a bit too overrun to worry about that.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it is 2 a.m., so
Oh, it's like 4 a.m.
do
now.
they... Yeah. Do we incur a point of exhaustion for having not slept in 24 hours?
You have
the
to
way that
roll
usually
for it.
functions?
But I'd say you basically count that as a long rest that you got. So
Okay.
it's like as basically sleeping.
Okay. Yeah, she would ask the group if they were okay just continuing on immediately.
Absolutely.
Yep, let's go.
Yep, Taryn will kind of nod.
Okay.
And
All haste.
Are our eagles still up?
I don't think so. I think you'd have
No.
to cast them again.
Yeah, so this will be my second slot.
Let's see. Let's see what I've got prepped. We might have to defer to next session because I don't know if I have enough prepped.
Vosner will just speak his warning again. We'll have to rely on one of my lesser forms. So.
Well, you've got all your stuff back.
I do?
You've got all your wild shapes back, yeah. You had a long rest.
Didn't I just burn one to be an eagle?
Oh, I'm so stupid. But you get it back on a short rest, so
Yeah.
you can be back to full again.
Yeah. So.
But you'll burn another one to be an eagle.
I
Yeah.
see. I
we'll
see.
probably
Right.
have to rest before we get to Bryn Shander's Gates anyway. Because that's another 24 miles or so.
Yeah. So he'll say that he'll, he's willing to go right on through, but, just to let them know that's what we'll be at if we don't rest.
Well, we can always take a short rest when we get there. I want to get close enough to be able to see what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can throw enough of this together so that it makes sense. So basically, you guys would be arriving, I guess make another survival check and then make another perception check. Okay, so you guys travel there just fine, flying over. As you fly, you also see East Haven is smoking rubble now. And as you're sort of flying through the air, you see Targos has also been eliminated, and you've come to realize that there is only one town remaining of 10 towns, and it is Bryn Shander. And from your perspective, with that perception, Isolde, you see massive amounts of barbarians sort of streaming out of the trees near Goodmead. I guess I should just activate the map because that's where everybody is anyways. You see a number of people, sort of barbarian armies, moving through the trees towards Bryn Shander in sort of non-uniform positions, but moving as a giant force. And on the southeast wall, you guys can see a number of guards getting ready to fire arrows, and you sort of that the barbarians are like waiting outside of the arrow range, and it's sort of a standstill at the moment. And where are you guys flying to / landing?
Vosner will probably want to land sort of so we can get the drop on the orcs at the gate, but
There are no orcs within sight. You don't see any orcs.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Barbarians, I mean.
Do we want to go in just like guns blazing?
It looks like they just ran out and began this standoff now.
Yes.
Correct?
We probably don't look like friendly people to Bryn Shander, so we should probably avoid trying to land in the city.
Agreed. And I know we said that we wanted to maybe take a quick rest. For Vosner's sake. Maybe we land somewhere where we can watch this situation.
Like on a hill, so that's like a third point. Kind of like around here.
Yeah, but you will be within, a 20-minute walk of an entire army, just so you know. Your call, though. Whatever you guys want to do.
If we could land within a mile of the army, I could clairvoyance my way over to gather intel.
Very well.
So we're not right next to them, but
Yeah, I mean, a mile is still a 20-minute walk for them, but I guess 40
True
minutes
enough.
on the snow. But
Is it still dark out, so they might not be like
it
actually seeing
is.
us?
The sun is rising now, because that was another 4 hours of travel, so.
How long do Vosner's wild shapes last? Like if he stays as a giant eagle? He's been one for 4 hours?
I think it's up to his.
Currently 5 hours. It's half my level. So, if we want my elemental form out of game, you gotta give me however long we determine a short rest is.
An hour.
Like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, Vosner could like recuperate while we scout and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Or we can go guns blazing and go that way. I can understand when you talk, so we'll land and I won't immediately drop my form.
Yeah, the question is how visible we're going to be when we land. Like, how good at scouting we are right
You
now.
have no idea how scouted you are.
Alright. I think we should try to land and keep our cover. see if we can bide our time while Vosner rests. Maybe this standoff will last for a while, but if it doesn't, we will need to react.
Very well. Everybody lands, and it is freezing cold. If you're subjected to this for longer than, let's say, an hour, you'll have to make Constitution saving throws.
Okay. So we're like in a mile or so away from this standoff?
Yeah, you're kind of at this triangular point here, where the icon is.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you're closer than that.
Does it count as a rest if we're just walking?
I don't think so.
We have to be like totally chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. And I suppose, well, now that we've landed, we probably can't see very well, can we? Because of the snow.
Yeah, it's not super snowy, but yeah, you can't see super great. I'd say you can see enough, though, up on the hill. Just forces in the distance.
And they're not engaged yet. They're just in a standoff. Still.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, Vosner will drop his form and just begin to meditate. I guess he'll like build some snow so he can like shield himself so he doesn't stand out. So
Okay.
sort of like an embankment or something, so he can sort of like hide himself.
Yeah.
Try and be stealthy about it.
How long would it take to walk to, let's say, within a mile of the crew of the army?
We are a mile away, right?
Correct.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, you're a
Okay.
mile away.
In that case, upon landing, all we see is just this like massive, well, I guess not cloud, but dark shape of infantry on the hillside. No landmarks or anything significant among them.
You just see that there are more numbers in the trees. But yeah, there's just like a line of, like a vanguard of troops. Sort of.
Right within the center of that vanguard. Yeah, in the center of that vanguard, I cast clairvoyance and choose the sense of hearing to see if I can hear any like officers of that army discussing plans and preparation, etc.
Oh, make a perception roll for me.
Okay. No, this isn't the time. Let's just leave it to chance. Okay,
Yep.
good.
And you, basically, I'm not gonna do a bunch of the voices, but you overhear over a matter of, I guess, minutes, a number of them sort of antsy to go, and then another one says, wait for the sign.
Well, while Viral is doing that, I would say Damon is just going to ritually cast Tiny Hut for himself and for Vosner and anybody else who wants to be shielded from the cold for now.
Okay, yeah.
Taryn's gonna remain outside and just have a frost, or ray of frost prepped if any barbarians wander towards them.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of stand out in the cold, not fazed at all now by the intense cool air.
After gathering the intel, I'll move into the tiny hut if there's room, and mention to the others. If they're irritable, I imagine the attack is imminent. They're waiting for a sign.
I wonder
Were
from
you
who.
able to determine what the sign is?
Unfortunately not.
And as you're saying that, you see a bunch of smoke bellowing out from the center of Bryn Shander.
Could that be it?
Yes, I think we have to move. Some of us.
How long has it been?
15 minutes.
Is anyone gonna wake me up or disturb me? Because I'm kind of meditating.
Yeah, no, she says it's time to go. And apologizes.
All right.
We moving in on foot?
How long would that take in
Uh,
snowy conditions?
40 minutes per mile in snowy conditions.
So 40 minutes.
Unless you want to try to push it and then... Yeah.
Yeah. Because the eagles are gone, I assume.
Correct.
Yeah. We're kind of at a disadvantage here, but the Eagles are gone.
Well,
1 minute.
sieges take time. Like, even if they break through, they won't conquer the city in an hour. So if we move now, we should still be able to make a difference.
Yes. She's gonna suggest that they move now and quickly towards Bryn Shander.
Yeah, serious question. Who are you guys attacking?
Who are we attacking?
Yeah, like, because you guys, some of you are talking about moving towards the barbarians, some of you are talking about moving towards Bryn Shander.
Well, I'm saying Bryn Shander because by the time we get there, I didn't realize that it would take us 40 minutes. But by the time we get there, I assume the barbarians are going to have reached Bryn Shander.
Okay, yeah.
So running towards the tree line now would put us way far behind by the time we get there.
Got it.
I mean, do we know the barbarians are evil? Just throwing that out there.
Do you ask that question for real?
No.
No. Because it's an interesting question.
First, we need to know what the good is.
Oh man, we're gonna need a whole dialogue. Alright, let me prep this.
Yeah, so her hope is that if they're moving at the same speed that the barbarians are moving, that they'll be able to join the infantry line of Bryn Shander at the same time that the clash is about to begin.
We won't look like friendlies.
They'll quickly discover that we are, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's not super concerned about that.
Okay, so here's what you find. I'm trying to make sure this is all balanced and makes sense. Yeah, that's probably fine. So you guys start running towards the city, and you basically find that they haven't pushed up to the city walls yet, but they are fighting sort of at this small river that crosses this sort of iced over river, and on one side of it you find some like excursion troops that are sort of holding the line outside of the city, and then on the other side the barbarian forces sort of getting ready to run at each other. Where do you land, or which side do you run to, and what do you do? Like, I'm trying to just set this scene up.
Vosner would suggest try and form a pincer move, you know, and see where the weakest part is. Position ourselves there.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know what that means.
yeah, I don't know. Pincer, you're trying to like land or trying to like run alongside. All right, I'll just throw you. You're sort of running alongside the river, I guess. I'll
Right.
have you
Okay.
guys arrive. Let's see. If it came from this way, yeah, you guys would be coming from this way. You're coming from the north, which is oddly the left side of this map. So let me. Yeah, just a small skirmish of this larger battle. You guys find yourselves sort of in between both sides here. Yeah, and up on this hill, sort of before the gates. The gates of Bryn Shander are this way, down here, and the orcs are coming from, or the barbarians are coming from the north.
Yeah, bears.
Do we happen to have any time before an initiative gets rolled?
I'll give you, if you wanted to have like cast a buff spell, if it's
Yeah.
one of those longer form ones. I don't want to like have haste cast or anything like that, but
No, it was Fortune's Favor, and it takes a minute to cast, so if
Yeah.
I had that minute...
I'll
okay.
imagine you cast it beforehand because it lasts a while.
In that case, I shall cast it. And as usual, let's see here. I'm nearest Terran, so I suppose I will say to Terran, good luck, and cast it on him.
So what does it do?
If, let's see here. When you make any roll, attack ability or saving, you can dismiss the spell and roll an additional d20 and pick which one to use.
Cool. Taryn will nod gratefully.
Yep. I'll destroy a pearl.
Okay, so I made a little box on the ground. I'll say that part is snow, so that you guys aren't starting on the ice. But after that, you will be running on ice if you run. So just keep that in mind. And we're gonna
What does that mean metagame wise?
like snow or ice is gonna be like you can slip.
Okay, so it's like a. Gotcha.
I think once we're in earshot of the Bryn Shander soldiers, Isolde would call out, I am Isolde Brynja and we are here to help, to make sure that they're not looking at them as targets.
Sure. Don't mind me. Just
Listen
rolling
to
some-
those dice.
Just rolling some dice.
Jesus.
Did I roll? Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Alright, not my worst.
I know we decided to help Bernshander, but the barbarians have a werebear, and that's super cool. So,
I could be a bear, guys.
but could you be a werebear?
A Goliath werebear.
I can be a hare bear or a there bear.
Alright. That was very painful. Oh, I almost moved every single token. Okay.
These barbarian art is super cool, especially Isar Kronenstrom there in the center. What a badass.
Damn.
Yep. And if only you guys had like, gone and talked to them at all. Yeah.
Just saying one side is objectively cooler, and it's not the side we're on.
Let's make that side cooler then.
So she can tell, perhaps, that there's a mixture of the Regedman barbarians and the Uthgard here.
Yes.
Interesting. And has she ever seen or heard rumors of a man with an antlered helm?
Yes. Make a history check for me. Alright, yeah. You would know he is known as one of the most dangerous barbarians, and he's sort of like a folktale. Like, if you see the barbarian with the horned helm, he'll eat your brother and sister. That kind of folktale.
There's a lot of those in Icewind Dale, it seems.
Yeah. Basically, don't go outside the walls.
Very pleasant upbringing.
Yes. Where the fuck? Okay, let me give this guard this thing. Okay, so this guard is going to... Okay. They're gonna launch a ballista bolt across the way and nail one of those barbarians real hard.
Never mind, guys. I'm back on board with our side. We got ballistas.
How fickle you are.
Ballistas.
And
I would say all is good in the world.
okay. This guy is going to shoot his heavy crossbow across the water. Oh. Wow. That is a very poor showing. And that is his turn. And he just throws the crossbow on the ground. Blah, 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 blah. This guy runs. Taryn, it's your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the edge of the snow patch. Then, let's see, how far away are we? 90 feet. I'm gonna hex this guy. And then I'm gonna pull out my wand and Eldritch Blast him. And he should take 4 extra necrotic damage.
Got it. Yeah.
And he has disadvantage on strength checks.
Jeez. Okay, so he's slowed down by that, and all of the troops on this side begin to turn their gaze towards you guys. Farrell, you're up.
Alright, so if I casted haste on myself and got an additional action, could I use that additional action to cast spells?
Nope. The additional action you get from haste lets you either attack, dash, dodge, or something else. But
Okay, I didn't know if spells counted as an
Good.
attack, so...
it says specifically of like a weapon attack, I think.
Yeah, it does. Okay. So, in that case, that changes things slightly. Can we walk on this ice that surrounds us, or no?
Yeah, I'll just say, unless you want to use, go half movement on it, it's going to take athletics to stay, or acrobatics to stay up.
Okay. Well then. I'll just be modest with this turn. Get a little bit closer to the action here. And for now, I'm just going to cast Chrono Spike on that Berserker closest to us.
Wow, yeah.
And that'll be it for now.
Very cool. Okay. Who's guard Berserker? This guy is going to run. And then he's going to run again. He does not seem to be slowed down by the ice at all. And he gets that close, but that is his turn. This elite guard will move sort of closely, but stay his ground. This guard will fire a ballista. Oh god damn it, I keep putting it on the wrong fucking person. Oh, I didn't mean to do advantage, but we'll say he had advantage, and he slams a bolt into that barbarian. And that is his turn. Guard barbarian. This guard will fire the third ballista. At this guy coming up the way. Hit him on the way up. And this barbarian's gonna come towards you guys. Elite guard comes forward. The berserker comes forward. Hopping over this fence. Damon, you're up.
I cast haste on myself. And then I want to come basically up, like, in the general direction of that wall on the east or the west side as far as I can.
Okay.
So I don't know what like movement penalties are for the ice and then the snow.
I'll say it's like half movement for both, but if you, yeah, I'll just say it's half movement for both. You can try to run faster on the ice, you can just slip if you do. But I can say you can get over there if you want.
Yeah, I'll say I book it as hard as I can on the ice.
Okay, make
to try and make it slightly farther.
Acrobatics check for me. And I think you have advantage because of, that's just dex saving throws, but...
Yeah, I think it's just saves, so...
Alright.
I'll just roll it flat.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay. So, like, can I make it, like, that far?
Yep, that berserker's gonna get an attack of opportunity on you, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. He attacks you with his great axe at advantage because he is reckless. And misses both. Okay, that's his attack.
And then I just like brandish my sword and set it ablaze.
Cool.
And try and just get everybody to focus on me.
Yeah.
And that's my turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn, this barbarian runs towards you. This guard stands put, reloading his crossbow, as is this one. This guy hops over the wall and attacks you recklessly. And
So my AC is 23 right now.
undoing that damage. Okay, so that's his first attack, and here's his second attack. Alright, so you shield the 24, so we undo the damage. And yeah, that is his turn. This barbarian hops over the fence and does the same thing. And I'll undo that damage because it doesn't hit. This barbarian, again, they're piling on. So what is it again?
Because I'm shielded right now. I'm at
Yeah.
28.
So second attack. And it misses again. Let me undo that. Okay. Vosner, you're up.
Awesome. Vosner will cast Call Lightning. Let's see. Does that give me any special if I upcast it? I don't think so. Uh-oh. 4th level or higher. Alright. I'm gonna cast it. There we go. Also, is it cloudy out?
It is a little bit cloudy, sure.
Alright. Would that give me any extra damage to
Let's see.
my spell?
I don't think it's stormy.
Okay. Well, I will just center my Call Lightning sort of like this.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that is your turn. Strud is going to... Let's see. Cast Fairy Fire on Damon. Which Damon looks like he's going to fail.
Was that a Dex saving throw?
Yep. Make another dex.
So do I get to
Yep.
re-roll it because I have advantage?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And you do not succeed.
Doesn't make it.
Okay, so you are now coated in Fairy Fire, meaning every attack against you has advantage. And this elite guard will appear, but stand his ground. And the rest of the guards are reloading their ballistas. Zolda.
I am going to lift up the Ring of Monitor and send a message to Isar. And I'm going to say, stand down. I am one of you, and I have your magic. I do not want to spill more blood, but you cannot take Bridgender. And he can reply back if he wants to.
He just replies, traitor witch, and does not seem to be stopping.
Okay. I will run out onto the ice and I guess make a
Acrobatics check.
acrobatics check. Fuck.
Wow, just barely. You stay up.
Yep, and then I guess for my bonus action, I'm gonna summon my spiritual weapon next to Isar.
Sweet. Alright. Oh, you want me to drop that?
Yeah, you can drop it. I'm casting it right now.
Oh, because it's gonna do damage, I forgot. Player characters, no. Other extras? Need a better system for this shit. Minions, that's what it is. What side? It's on
That misses him, I assume.
this R.
Yeah.
Yeah, that misses.
Can we move it, like right in front? I guess I can move it right.
Yep, perfect. Joe,
That's it for me.
you were up.
That new ability, John, is not clear what happens if people make the save.
Oh, it's 0 damage, I think.
Okay. So yeah, they don't take half, they take 0.
Correct, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. So I don't know how to place a template because that's not something I've ever had to do as Johoff.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it'll automatically prompt you when you click it.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
can
half damage on a fail is fine. I don't care.
Also, I was gonna do that with upticking it with 3 key points.
Oh. Okay. So, what would that be a total of? Each key point. So you would roll 66.
An extra 66.
Roll that for me. Okay. So anybody that succeeds. Oh wait, succeeds with an 11. What's your spell save DC?
Should be 15.
Yeah. Okay, that's all fucked up. I'll edit that. That's wrong. Okay. Blah blah blah. So the people who fail are the Ragged Barbarian. You can't. Where's that guy at? Okay. And this guy should be dead. And everybody else succeeds, so they take 12 more damage. I think that looks right. So what's it look like when you unlock this additional ability from your weapon?
Yeah, so Johoff sort of takes his hammer and it starts kind of like crackling, and he looks down at it, and he's not really sure what to do. He kind of points it in the general direction of the barbarians, and this huge bolt of light shoots out. When it hits that spot, it just kind of blossoms into sort of a giant sphere of light. And then Johoff looks just as surprised as everyone else. And amid the roar of it, you hear him go, "Whoa, me."
Faintly in your head, you remember Coralon saying, well, could be arranged.
Yeah, cute.
Anyways.
And then I'm gonna take, for my bonus, where is it? There we go. I'm gonna take Step of the Wind. Or no, I guess I don't even have to because I'm doing it as a bonus. So I'm gonna take the dash action for Step.
Didn't you use your action to attack?
What's that?
You used your action to attack.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, don't you have to use a key point to use Step of the Wind? To
Oh,
dash?
right. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually not using Step of the Wind. I'm just using dash as a bonus action because I can do it as a monk.
You can?
Pretty
Without a
sure
key
it's
point?
like that. Yeah.
I think that's a rogue thing, but alright. I'll trust you to look it up and adjust your key points appropriately. But move yourself wherever you want to end up.
Is that good?
Perfect. Okay. This barbarian is going to rush over the ramparts and attack Damon with advantage. Missing, missing, missing. This guard is going to reload his thing. Out of the mist, a figure is going to appear behind Damon. A 23, that does not hit.
My
25.
AC is still at 28 because of shield.
And so I will undo that. Look at your Constitution save. That's like the third crit that you've had.
I know. I feel like I'm wasting them.
And a crit cannot be stopped. So
Right.
Could it be re-rolled?
are you 60 feet away?
I think Chronal Shift is anyone I can. Oh, within 30 feet of me. Shit, never mind.
Is there any...
If Damon passed his concentration,
yeah.
would that do anything?
It means I wouldn't miss my next turn,
Yes.
but it's an extremely high saving throw.
Oh, you'll pass.
The saving throw needs to be a 26?
Okay. Nothing gets added to it?
It's added to
He
it.
has +7 added to his.
Well, tell you what. You would lose a turn if you fail this, Damon?
Yeah.
Okay, we can't have that. So, Damon rolls a 20 for his concentration save.
Can you reach him with that? Just saying, I'm just wondering.
I think that's... Oh, don't tell me that's a distance thing. Anyone I can see, no range
Okay.
specified.
Cool. Yep. So you can't stop the attack, but you can improve his Constitution saving throw such that he doesn't lose haste. So basically, out of the mist, this barbarian with blood coating her face sprints up to Damon, who's coated in this fairy fire, and runs her long knife through the back of Damon's chassis, just ripping and shredding into his armor as the blade pierces out the other side. And Varol keeps Damon from losing focus on his spell. And that is that character's turn. And then she's going to take the disengage action and go over here. Or about here. She's gonna hop over that wall. And this is the guard berserker who's running this way. Guard comes and stands over here, and this ragged barbarian gets to go. He's going to come over here and pile on to Damon. Missing. And missing. And now it is the Goliath Werebear's turn. He is going to location, sort of like galloping towards you with these long strides. And you can see like bone and armor like all around him. And he is coming at Joab. And that is his turn. Okay. This barbarian is going to run across the river. This guard is going to shoot a ballista at the nearest one. Hitting him hard. Izar is going to stroll up here and attack at Damon. So technically Damon isn't gone yet, so he still has all that AC. So undo that damage. Okay.
Also, how the hell did you roll that?
How did I roll
You
what?
rolled a 6
Yep.
on a 1d4 plus 3 plus 2d12.
Yep. This is my life. I'm just gonna have to make the monsters all do 20d2 instead. To balance out.
Wow, the same thing happened last session. There are like 3 different dice in there, and all of them were 1s. Last session too. You're a witch, but maybe not a good kind.
Maybe I'm a good kind for you guys. It's a swing and a swing. Yep. One hit on Jaw. Taryn, you're up.
Alright, let's see. I was gonna do something totally different, but seeing what just happened to Damon, I'm going to cast Cloud Kill. Have it prepared as. Alright. But I'm gonna burn a sorcery point to make it Frost. And I'm gonna cast it right here.
Damn.
So it's one of the ones that's supposed to kick in on their turn.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just count this for their turn. When they start their turn, this is what they'll be at.
Alright, awesome. And then I'm going to burn a second sorcery point and do my breath weapon on the guy that's right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Hold up, is this a multicolor breath weapon now?
Yeah.
Dope.
Well, it's mostly. It's green. Yeah, green. So it's electricity, poison. I guess there's no electricity damage in it.
Yeah.
So it's just.
It's kind of like
poison.
thunder with poison and cold.
Yeah. They roll.
And then I'm gonna kind of smile at the Oathguard barbarian.
You're up, Bayroll.
Cool. If I were to Misty Step on a position of the ice, would I risk slipping?
I'll say no.
Okay, then let's cast Misty Step. And I'm just gonna Misty Step right here, beside Izzy. And then, on our good friend Isar, I'm gonna cast Banishment, and he's gonna roll a 10. Oh, well, I already called he rolls a 10 anyways, but...
Yeah. Okay. So another plane of existence. Yeah. Sure. Target must succeed. Fails. If the target is native to the plane of existence you're on, banishment to a harmless demi-plane. He's incapacitated. Let's see if I've got a banished thing. I don't know.
So you have to successfully concentrate on that for a minute, essentially?
I think it lasts for a minute and I have to hold concentration, and so long as I do, he's not around.
give him the radioactive symbol because nothing else is going to be radioactive in this game. So he is vanished. He is in a harmless demiplane.
That'll do it.
Alright. Wait, you can't cast that and do Misty Step.
Misty Step's a bonus action.
Yeah, but it's 2 spells. If you cast a bonus action spell, then you can't. Then you can only cast a cantrip. That's the system.
I didn't know that. Okay, then could we retcon the Misty Step and just make it a movement, and I'll roll an acrobatics, and if I fail, okay, hopefully I don't fail.
I'll say you get there, but after you cast the spell, you fall prone.
Okay, thank you for your mercy.
I mean, you could cast it from the ground anyway, so it's not like a big deal.
Got you.
Okay. Guard Barbarian. He is going to lay into Terran as hard as he can. Swinging again. Fucking wow, this rolls unbelievable. Okay.
Taryn just kind of gives him an annoyed look, like, come on, guy.
The elite guards stand their ground on the shore. This guard shoots a ballista at the guard barbarian who's running up. And kills him. What is his turn next? That's real sad. This guy shoots the barbarian. Hits him hard. This barbarian runs up to Isolde and starts a slashing. Alright. Guard stands ground.
She's gonna yell for Damon
Yeah.
to get out of there.
This guard is going to come up and attack Damon. Is your AC still higher than that?
Yeah, so it's still 28.
Got it. Okay, that is... Oh, he gets to attack again. And that does not beat a 28, so undoes the damage. A lot of undoing damage for Damon. Alright, Damon, your turn is up.
So Damon now tucks away the flaming sword, which was just a red herring, and instead pulls out Threnody to cast Destructive Wave, centered on himself. So,
Move.
because this is complicated, I will say I'm not targeting me and Johaf, and I'm doing Radiant, not Necrotic.
Okay, so can you edit the spell so it just does the radiant? So we don't have to modify the damage?
How would I do that?
Let me do it. I'll go in there.
Okay. That would be outstanding.
Wait, are you casting it as just a 5th level spell? Because you actually have those now.
I was, casting it just as the 5th level spell because I didn't know how to cast it from
Got it.
Threnody.
Yeah, you can, we'll work that out later. Yeah, you can cast it now and not consume a spell slot. It should work.
When I did it, I always just unclicked the consumer spell slot button.
Yeah. Okay. So I will try.
God damn it. Fell for it again.
Alright,
Bunch of dumb
here we go.
barbarians. So many saves. Alright. Let's do undo to you, undo to him, undo to Johaf, and that's about it, right? So
That looks good to me.
It did. Good lord, look at those rolls. You got 4 6s out of 10d6. Alright. Yeah, there's an explosion of Yeah, describe it. What's it look when you kill all of these barbarians in one blow?
So I waved my flaming sword to draw their attention, and as they circled around me, I let it. I like deflected a few blows and then let the sword fall as I whipped out this staff, and just like spun it around as I brought it crashing into the snow. And there's like this eruption of white light, and like fresh powder like is vaporized and like completely smooths out and leaves this like a little icy patch. And all these barbarians around me just are flattened against the snow.
Yeah, I'm gonna send them flying across the battlefield.
Sweet. And then heeding my captain's command, I'm going to take my action to disengage, and then just step back a little ways. What, half movement?
Yeah.
So I can make it to like here. And knowing that they're all at advantage, I am going to utilize my Primus's Mark. And I hear like a voice in my head that sounds almost like mine say, Model 726 entering sentry mode. And now all that advantage shit shouldn't be so much of a problem for me.
Yeah, dude.
And that's my turn.
Alright, one of the barbarians that was just like fucked up by you is gonna chase you and try to swing at you twice. Okay. And that is that guy's turn. The guards are doing the ballista now. Bosner, you're up.
Can I just say real quick for clarity that I would have picked up my sword before I moved?
Yeah, that's I
Okay.
assume.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. So Vosner will. Let's see. He's going to let down call lightning, and he's gonna do it on the barbarian.
Yeah.
Cool. Where's the spell damage? Spell. It's gonna do it on the one next to Izzy.
Okay.
Mama home.
Yeah, just try and not hit her when I place this. Would this count as a spell? I guess so, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't break you from your form if you've gone into form.
I'm not in form yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So I zap that guy. And then I will use my bonus action to...
Oh, that was a bonus action to call that down.
Okay. So could I use an action to use a bonus action ability, or is it...
Oh, well, hold on, let me see.
No? Okay.
He gets a spell, blah, 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 blah.
I know we put it in my... Yeah, hold on, yeah.
You can use... Oh, you can use your action. Never mind, so that wasn't a bonus action. That was an action. So you can use your bonus action to do whatever you want.
Okay. I will use Celine's Mark.
Oh.
Yep. And I'm going to bamf 60 feet over onto the snow.
Okay.
560. Boop.
Okay. Is that your turn?
And that is my turn.
Okay. This druid is going to walk closer and cast Cure Wounds.
She needs to take damage when she enters the.
Oh, what is that?
Let me check real quick.
Oh, Cloud.
That's
Kill.
your kill.
Yeah,
That's
it's
your
Cloud
cloud
Kill. I think it's. I want to say like 8d8.
Okay. She'll take a Constitution save for it.
Yeah. It's 5d8 plus 7, so.
Roll that shit.
Yeah, she failed the save. So 35 damage.
Okay. She succeeds her Constitution saving throw. She maintains Fairy Fire on Damon. The guards stay put. Reload, Isolde.
Alright, first I'm gonna turn to Varel and say, when Isa returns, try to hold him. And then she's gonna turn to the guy next to her and cast Inflict Wounds. Wherever that is. What the fuck? Oh, it's a first level spell. Just up that a bit. And then my bonus action, I move my weapon up to 20 feet and attack if anyone's within range, but they're not, so that's it.
Got it. Johav, you're up.
Alright. I'm gonna do some punchy with the guy in front of me. Is he dead?
He's at 1 health.
Cool.
Now he's dead.
Alright, and alright, then he's gonna move himself back over here. If that's alright.
Yeah.
And yep, that's it for me.
Okay. This guy is going to move out of this cloud and run this way. Running away. And this blood guard is going to run at Damon and try to stab him again. Say 24 hit, not with shield. And then she's going to swing a second time. And miss. Then she's going to use Nimble Escape to try to get a little bit away. And that is her turn. The guard stands
Have I
still.
been able to see? Have I been able to see the blood guard's face at all?
I mean, sure.
Is this looks very similar to Isolda's situation?
Yeah,
Okay.
like a cousin. This Goliath werebear is going to come up to Damon and claw and bite. Bite first. But a 21 does not hit. And then, what's his?
He also theoretically doesn't have advantage, I think, because of Primus's mark. Or
Oh.
Primus's mark.
Oh. Let me look back at that. In the duration attacks roll against you can't benefit from advantage whenever you make an attack roll. Okay. Very good point. I was wondering what you were talking about earlier. That makes sense. He swings and misses. And that is his turn. Back to the top of the round. A shadowy figure appears behind these guards. Give them the old stab. And that is her turn. Barbarian. Cuts off that guy's head. And the guards are going to shoot more crossbows. I think we're running out of time here, though. Should we continue this next week? People have to go.
I mean, I've got time.
I've got time as well, but
I guess. When does the guy come back from banishment? At the end of your next turn, or his turn? Or
I think it's a minute-long spell, so 10 rounds.
oh, he's just he's just gone. Got it.
I think it's a minute long, and if Varyl's concentration isn't broken, it's permanent.
It's only permanent if they're not from this plane.
Okay.
Right.
Well, you don't know where he's from.
Right, it might end up being permanent.
Could be.
Yeah. Could be from Miami. It's terrible.
Ooh. Alright, I guess we'll end it there if people have to go. Another great session, everybody. That was pretty crazy. Did not expect this
Very
to
cool.
be where we were at the end of this.
That's great, man.
Yeah, thanks for throwing that together so fast on the fly. That was really well done.
Yeah, I had a few of these kind of already prepped, but I had to repurpose this one, but it's fine. It worked out.
It was very
It's
good.
very cool.
yeah. And I needed to explode some stuff today.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that.
Yeah,
I
it
was like,
certainly did.
had to figure out what to... Did everybody get the chance to read their new ability and figure out how it works? Does anybody have questions about it?
No questions. It's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty pumped.
Mine's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Very, very cool stuff, John.
you guys are getting into the end game now, and yep, getting them cool abilities.
The first part of the end game.
I
We're going to
know.
level 20, guys. It's gonna be great.
Let's do it, man.
I mean, we definitely can. Okay, well, assuming you don't all die here. Looks like you got this under control.
Deal with the werebear first, and then we'll
See you
go
guys.
from there.
Alright,
See you,
later,
Tim.
everybody.
Bye.
See you,
Okay.
Dan.
Bye.